Hello, everyone. My name is Danny, and this review is for The Catcher Was a Spy. Excuse my voice, I'm just getting over being sick. This gripping espionage thriller brings to life the incredible true story of Moe Berg, the pro baseball player who became a World War II spy. The enigmatic Berg was already a man of mystery when, in 1944, the U.S. government's wartime intelligence agency recruited him to serve his country. The mission go behind enemy lines in Europe to assassinate the Nazis' chief nuclear scientist before the Germans could develop an atomic bomb. Berg must rely on his formidable steel-trap intellect in a high-stakes game of cat and mouse, with the fate of the world hanging in the balance. This is a 2018 film. It is rated R. It runs 94 minutes, and it stars Paul Rudd, Mark Strong, Sienna Miller, Jeff Daniels, Tom Wilkinson, Giancarlo Giannini, Hiroyuki Sanada, Guy Pearce, and Paul Giamatti. Quite the cast. Based on a true story, so it says right there. And it does talk about him and everything in the format. So that's how I'm going to do my review. So what you want to know is what you're going to want to know, because I'm going to tell you. Well, first off, this is like a true story, but it's not like a true story that everybody knows. Like, they had to make a movie about it because it happened 2 years ago and it was world news, and this was a long time ago, 1944, and somebody brought up this idea and somebody told this story and somebody decided to make a movie, but that's a long time ago. It's not like, all the true story movies I've seen lately that happened within the last 10 years, and it's about sports, and you gotta make it, This one is has a different feeling to it, and it's not just about, some underdog becoming champion. It's a very different story of a baseball player knowing his time was up, but he didn't think his future was in baseball. And I'm sorry to disagree with the back sleeve there, but it seems more like he wants to join the country's mission because it shows him going to talk to somebody. It doesn't really show him being recruited per se. I don't think that's the right word. But so he goes looking to help his country, and he gets his mission and everything. And what doesn't get talked about enough with this movie, I'm sure, but I'm just going to let you know, is it's very smart. It's very well done. All the actors in it help that. High-class actors. We're talking about the best here. I was very surprised with a small movie like this, weird story. Right at the beginning, it shows a baseball game, and the pitcher shakes off a signal of Paul Rudd, the catcher. That's what the movie's about, is him being a catcher in baseball. And he says, "Hey, don't shake off my signal." And he's like, "Why?" He's like, "Because I don't want a curveball or a changeup on a guy stealing the base." He's like, "How did you know he was stealing?" He's like, "I just knew." Like, that line right there, right off the bat of the movie, I just knew, like, that he's that good of a baseball player. That lets you know you're in for a good movie, because you're dealing with a smart character being played by a great actor, and the storyline is just unique, and so it's just going to be entertaining. And so right off the way, it had me off the bat, literally, baseball bat, and it just was entertaining to the fullest, and I enjoyed the baseball and the story. I really did. Then it kind of gets to lower feeling to it. I can't explain so much, but I really think it's because of the older time setting. You know, the trench coats and the dark alleys and the brick streets and the payphone and I don't know. It just had this weird vibe to it in the middle section, and it just brings it down a tad bit, just the smallest bit. Because, like I said, along the way, you're dealing with all these actors and everything. You're dealing with this great story. It just feels like lower because of the time setting. I don't know. I don't know what could have been done except maybe brighten up the screen a little bit. But that's about it. I enjoyed all the baseball because even Paul Rudd's character continues to kind of have, you know, opportunities for baseball to keep coming up throughout the movie. I enjoyed that fact a lot. I know this is a true story, and I know you supposedly have to tell all the details, especially make a full-length feature film about somebody, but I did not like the hints and the minimal use of talking about how Moberg might have been gay. I didn't see the validity of it. I didn't understand why it had to be put in there at all. Then we get to my number one annoyance in this world, if you've seen any of my other videos, and that's the subtitles. There's a lot of them. He happens to speak all these languages, supposedly, and poor Paul Rudd, you know, I mean, he actually has to say, as a character, that his tone and his slang on certain languages is almost perfect. He just sounds like Paul Rudd talking a language, you know, I mean, I feel sorry for him as an actor sometimes because he just sounds how he sounds. You know what I mean? He can be the best character. He can play the best movie, but he just sounds like Paul Rudd. He just does, you know. So that part of it, I just had to get over because, you know, he's not going to sound any different than what he does. And so it was just kind of interesting. I did think it was a good thing for the movie to have all these languages. I think it was a downside for any movie to have subtitles. So it's kind of a if or and, you know, kind of a thing. And doesn't really matter. I didn't really care. I was so intrigued with the movie that I just kind of let it go. The subtitles, this one. I'd say the story is really, really interesting. I just don't know if it was so compelling. I don't know if everybody's going to really care. It's a lot of people out there that would say, oh, another Nazi story. And it kind of is. You know, I mean, it's so interesting with the baseball. It's so interesting with him wanting to get involved, you know, and help his country out. And there's some other stuff going on. And the ending is really precise, and it tells what happened after this storyline and everything. And it's really kind of neat, you know, what happens. But I just don't know if it's the most compelling story in the world. So, like I said, I really enjoyed it, but there's a couple things that kind of drug it down, and I hate that because this is the kind of movie I like to watch. It's really interesting. It can be a true story, but it's more of a movie, and it has to deal with sports, and it has to deal with a success story of a war thing. So, yeah, I think it's in the B range. I personally am going to give it a B minus just because of subtitles, honestly. But that feeling I had in the middle, that can't be explained, and that hurts a movie to have something that you can't explain bring the movie down. And I think that's why I give it a B minus. So, The Catcher Was a Spy is the name of the movie, and I'm going to give it a B minus. And thank you guys for watching. My name's Danny. Excuse my cold. It's up and down. My name's Danny. If you like any of my other videos, try and give something to watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would. And check out The Catcher Was a Spy. It's a pretty good movie. Enjoy your movies, guys.